Now, looking at what businesses or resources that businesses need at this point in time, partnerships cannot be overemphasized. You want to partner with, different organizations out there that can help you to get that trust, reach your goals, ensure that you are making the kind of performances that you want as an organization to achieve your mission, to also achieve your vision. And Relatable Systems are more than happy to collaborate with organizations at this point in time to ensure that you reach your objectives and achieve your different goals. So just to reiterate again, please, we would love you to come in, drop your comments. We'll be addressing different questions. I know you have a lot of questions at this point in time. We'll be addressing it much later at the end of this session. So as a business, like I said, every organizations out there want to ensure that zero trust is adopted in all organizations. You want to ensure that zero trust is adopted. You want to enforce security policies in place to ensure that everybody accessing your data, your applications, your infrastructure, and your network, you want to ensure that they are who they say they are. Looking at it from a broad picture, there is no longer inside the organization, no longer inside the network. It is now outside the network. So everybody accessing your data are as good as third party. So it's the way to ensure that you trust nobody and you verify everybody. Everybody is seen as a prime suspect. This is how businesses are ensuring that they meet their objectives. This is how businesses are ensuring that they stay secure at this point in time. And you cannot talk about security without talking about a zero trust model or adoption. So it is key for businesses to partner with organizations to help them achieve their mission and their vision and their goals, irrespective of the COVID-19 factor. It is very important that with the right partnerships and with the right collaborations, your performance, teamwork, and trust that you desire is achieved as a business. So it's very critical at this point in time, and that is why Reliance Info Systems is partnering with organizations out there, with top OEMs out there, to help achieve business objectives, to help ensure that despite COVID-19 and despite all odds, businesses can still achieve their objective and their goals. So of course, there are some partners, Sophos, Microsoft, and Cisco, that are giving free service offerings to help business at this point in time. Irrespective of the nature of the business, with these solutions, you can guarantee that users connecting remotely from home have the level of security that is deemed as best practice. Okay. Looking at some offerings from Sophos today, we have the Sophos Home for users that are using their personal system to access data, all right, for the organization. So with that protection, you have remote management, you have web protection, and if a user uses multiple devices like mobile devices, mobile tablets, their phones, or their laptops, they can have this protection in place. You also have Intercept X for mobile that does deeper intelligence when it comes to understanding ransomwares and other zero-day attacks available on iOS and an App Store. You have that available today to help you manage your users, to help your users stay secure, no matter where they're connecting from, and no matter whatever devices they're using at this point in time to access organizations' data. You also have the anti-phishing toolkits. You have the anti-phishing toolkit, and with this toolkit, you use it to educate your users against phishing. We've seen the threat landscape, we've seen the impacts of phishing. Globally, the world records 33% of the total number of attacks to be phishing. So out of these attacks, most of them came in via emails. And it took a user to click on those emails to download some malware or some content that jeopardized the entire organization. So you want to adopt anti-phishing toolkits to ensure that you sensitize your users. And the beauty about it, it includes a PowerPoint presentation, video, and so much more, all right, for you to really feel the impact that it has in guaranteeing security awareness to your end users. Business solutions differs, and of course, this is just just putting in different categories the protection in place for this solution. So of course, you look at protecting your devices. You want to look at ensuring that wherever and whenever users are, they remain protected. So, like I said, you want to ensure you have an endpoint running on that system. For example, your Sophos Home today guarantees you protection on personal PCs. So for companies today that are saying, you know what, users are using the personal devices for now because we do not have the right investment. Okay, you can have Sophos Home to protect users using their personal PCs. Other companies looking at, guess what, want to ensure that we don't have ransomware attacks and want to have users remain protected. You want to look at Intercept X to give you that protection. You also want to look at ensuring that you encrypt your devices. So aside from the Windows BitLocker that you have today, you want to ensure that you have some other level of encryption or tools that can actually serve you, all right, for encryption. So of course, your Sophos device encryption comes in to play here. So with this, you guarantee that data at rest, all right, remains encrypted, and only those who have the decryption keys can access that data. Very important, very, very important. So of course, you want to ensure that users have secure connection back to the office. It is very important. While connecting back to your office, like I said, you do not want anybody intercepting that connection. You don't want anybody sniffing into company information. You want to ensure that confidentiality, integrity remains intact for your organization, and you want to enforce that in place. So people, working from home, all they need to have is to connect to a remote firewall. So of course, Sophos is offering two kind of firewalls, the hardware firewall and the virtual firewall, all right, which can be deployed seamlessly remotely. The most business today are worried about protection, and they say, how do I have my users connect to the office without having a firewall? So of course, this comes into play whereby users connect via an SSL client directly to a virtual appliance before accessing organizations' data. So this is a huge consideration at this point in time. Then again, going back to emails and phishing, you want to ensure that you want to scan and secure your emails to ensure that users don't click on malicious emails and download email that have phishing contents. All right, you want to ensure that a mechanism is put in place to protect against that. And Sophos email protection gives that level of protection against phishing email. Previous slide, we spoke about the fish threats, very important with your fish toolkits right now available. You want to enforce awareness, enforce, users' awareness of security, ensuring that every user today is technically sound against the modern day attacks. You want to ensure that they don't click on some kind of emails. They verify who the sender's email is. All right, they put their mouse on that link, on that sender's email, ensuring that it wasn't aliased. You have scenarios whereby somebody pretends to be a colleague, but when you look at that content, it's actually coming from someone different. So you want to have users get that aware of emails, which they can also invite right now to their personal lives. You also want to ensure that you have filtering in place, inspection in place. You don't want a system where people can access anything they have. So while users are working remotely, and of course ensuring that they access company data, you want to worry about users, what they do during leisure. And what I mean leisure, I'm talking about accessing other sites and other destinations. So for leisure now, you want to ensure that you have policies in place that is intelligent and smart to say, do not allow users go to these certain destinations. You want to have users that are controlled and managed by having solutions that gives web filtering in place. So of course, some solutions do that today, and looking at Gartner today, some of the solutions that will give you this kind of security is the Intercept X and for endpoints and the Surface X3 firewall that does next generation filtering against the world's deadliest attacks and malwares. You also want to ensure that you control mobile devices. Like I said, it's very important. Without a control of mobile devices, there you have zero security in place, because right now users can access office email from their phones, they can access cloud storage platforms on the phones that has company data, and it becomes a worry for organization. So putting a control in place there guarantees that users do not have malwares on that device, do not have malicious activities on those devices that can jeopardize the entire system. It's something that we all want to look at. We also have the Intercept X for mobile that does the machine learning and the artificial intelligence there for deep packet analysis and giving you that threat intelligence against the world's deadliest attacks. So, like I said, you can drop your questions. I know there are a whole lot of things running through your mind right now. Some of us are scared and saying, we will survive this era, we will survive this COVID 19. Are we going to be attacked tomorrow? But that is why we're here, to help organizations see value, realize value, have understanding of how they can secure the entire organization. Of course, like I said, these solutions are out there now, and 50% support. We have the manufacturers as well giving their support. So of course you have Surface Home free of charge right now for users. So you want to consider having a Surface Home on that PC to give that user protection there. You also want to also look at ensuring that people connect securely to the organization. And that's what we discussed about having a secure socket layer VPN in place, where you would need a virtual appliance. And that comes for as much as 3 months free to every organization as today. And Reliance Info Systems is helping businesses achieve security, reduce their security exposure in order to get hit and stay protected. We also have the free 60-day super threat. All right, so that helps user awareness. So your end users, you know, instead of clicking on that email tomorrow or even today or even this moment, they are more secure and more vigilant. They are aware that an attacker is just the next door and that door needs to be closed. So of course that awareness there is very important for every user as of now. We also have the Intercept X, like I said, which is free for mobile standalone and for corporate management there. Very, very important for organizations to leverage these solutions now. And like I said to you before, questions around how you can onboard the solutions, how you can adopt and enforce these solutions will be addressed during the question and answer session. Then as well, Relatable Systems as well, again, partners with the top of the and the best OEMs out there, delivering solutions to ensure remote work and enforce business continuity. So you want to look at ensuring Cisco gives you that level of authentication. So of course you have some level of authentication that needs to be in place before users access data. So Cisco Duo out there is an identity and access management solution that gives users that second layer of identification. They must be authenticated with a second layer of authentication for them to have access to data. And it cannot be overemphasized, like I said to you before. Somebody can have access to your user's password, but how do you know is that person connected? Having a second layer of authentication gives you that protection in place, and you want to also consider that. Then again, we also talked about the first layer of attack. So the first layer where user data to be protected, which we said is the DNS layer, and you want to look at solutions out there that can give you that protection. Okay, and Cisco Umbrella contain that protection now. So for Cisco Umbrella out there today, it comes with 90 days free trial. a 90 days free trial. So users are guaranteed that at the DNS layer, all right, you have that intelligence to say users shouldn't go to access, for example, shadow IT platforms. At a glance, users have access to that, but the administrator can see it from a Cisco Umbrella central managed console, which is a Cisco Umbrella cloud. So you want to have all these mechanisms, all this security in place to guarantee that intelligence there. You also have the cloud access security broker. So that cannot be overemphasized for users also going to shadow IT platforms using third-party cloud applications, all that at a pane of glass, you have that detail there as an administrator, monitoring what is happening. Visibility at this point in time is very important. Even if you have a same solution which gives you some level of login and you can have some level of visibility, at a DNS layer, you want to infuse protection and have a wide range of visibility into what is exactly happening in your organization. And the beauty about this is it all happens remotely. You do not need to be in the office to achieve all of this.